Most of the things that I draw can be put in the horror category, but sometimes I like to draw things that just fascinate me and that are just a little bit spooky, not just horror in your face. And one thing that always fascinated me is the Japanese culture, and as a child especially, I used to watch Japanese samurai movies and anime, and what I always found really scary as a child, something that always scared me, were samurai armor, especially if it's empty and just standing around somewhere with nobody inside of them. That was always particularly creepy for me. I don't know why, it's just, those, they are meant to be imposing, they're meant to be kind of scary. And so as a child, that always creeped me out. Just some empty armor standing around somewhere. And so I thought, let's do like a little, not outright horror drawing, but something a little bit, spooky, like a samurai armor with nobody actually in it, just some, ghostly fumes, fog stuff, whatever, coming off of it. The first step, of course, is to do the underdrawing, the proportions and everything. So I'm just having fun with that. And when I'm finished with the underdrawing or with the basic pose, even though there's nobody inside of the armor, I just do it like, I just put the armor on it, like you draw the person underneath it. That's how I do it in general when I'm drawing people that have some sort of clothing that's a little bit bigger or not sitting very tight on the body. It's really easy to get proportions wrong that way. So yeah, I always draw the person underneath first, and then it's like you're dressing them, basically. You're putting their clothes or their armor on them. And in this case, I'm gonna be a little bit more detailed before I start drawing with ink, just because I want it to look right. So I'm taking my time drawing in all the details, even though I'm gonna erase everything basically later and redraw it with ink. This is just the underdrawing, so, but still making sure that I have the details placed where I want them and just taking my time with it. I was not too sure about the helmet for a long time, so that took me some time to figure out, and all the way to the end, when I'm nearly done, or when I'm nearly finished with the drawing and only the head is missing in ink, I will change it a little bit around. So yeah, what you're seeing right now, the underdrawing, is not exactly how the finished drawing is gonna look. So yeah, I just wanted to say I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. I love that. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, liking the videos. I really appreciate it. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps me out. And getting to 1,000 subscribers, man, that would be so awesome. Like a first big step. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I've always been a fan of Japanese culture, as I said. I used to watch some anime when I was younger, when I was like 15, 16. So, also like 8 years ago, Jesus. I think like with, 15, 16, 17, about that. So like 7, 8 years ago, when I had like my big anime phase and I watched everything. I used to watch Naruto when I was like in primary school, but that doesn't really count, because it was the only anime that I watched. Oh yeah, and Detective Conan. And I remember there was this episode with the samurai or this ghost samurai, or that I don't really remember. All I remember is that it scared me so much, this this guy in the huge samurai armor just walking around killing people. I don't really remember the context of anything, but I really remember the samurai armor and how much it scared me. So that kind of stuck with me, and now that my anime phase is sort of not over, because I still read manga. The only manga that I read is Berserk at the moment. So I buy these deluxe edition huge binders. They're really, really cool. They're leather bound, so that's really, really cool. But that's the only... Oh yeah, and Vagabond. So Vagabond, also great inspiration for this drawing. Vagabond and Berserk, but I take my time with it because I want to read them in paper, so I don't want to read them digitally. So I'm just gonna wait until I have some more cash saved up and Then like once every month or two I'm gonna buy the next Berserk Deluxe Edition or the next chapter of Vagabond. So yeah, this is the only thing anime or manga related that I still read or watch. I haven't even watched the Berserk anime that far. But yeah, mostly what stuck with me was just a fascination, not a fascination, but a big interest in Japanese culture. You know what I recently just played was Total War Shogun or whatever, but this Total War game about the Japanese clans that are fighting each other. Really, really cool, man. I love this game so much. I'm not really good at it. I'm not a good strategist, never have been. So most of the battles that I fight are auto-resolved. I'm not a good real-time strategist, but that's a cool game, Shogun 2. Obviously something that also stuck with me were Japanese tattoos. I really want to have like a Japanese sleeve one day, and I've been looking at some artists on Instagram that are doing really, really cool stuff. But you know, I don't have like 5 to 10,000 euros laying around for an arm sleeve or a leg sleeve. I want to start out with like a black and gray leg sleeve. Yeah, just Japan, a really, really cool country. Unfortunately, they're kinda declining. I don't know really economically what's going on, but cool country, and I hope that they upkeep their culture and their place in the world. But yeah, I hope they're coming out of it. I hope the birth rate goes up so they don't literally die out. But everything Japan related except anime that is not anime, I'm a huge fan of. That's why I'm doing this drawing. That's why I want a Japanese leg sleeve and arm sleeve, preferably hand drawn or directly free-handed on me. I would like that. Okay, what you've seen so far has changed a little bit. I wasn't really happy that much with his pose and with his proportions a little bit, so I tweaked it a little bit. I did some small, but I hope significant changes here and there. First of all, his arms were made a little bit broader, his shoulders, I kind of changed the angle of his head, but I think I'm gonna tweak that a little bit more. And yeah, I made his upper body a little bit longer and his legs a little bit shorter. And what you can also see, of course, is those little steamy, smoky things that I have coming off of him. It is a cool drawing, but it's not like a huge project. And I have some other things to do, so let's get to work. Alright, so the next step is gonna be tracing everything with ballpoint pen that I wanna keep, that I'm happy with. Everything else will be erased. This is a fairly quick step, fairly quick stage, just tracing everything, so that goes over relatively quickly. And after I'm done with that, I'm gonna take the same ballpoint pen and I'm gonna do some shading. The shading actually took the most time for this drawing because there's just so many details to be done, but it's really worth it. It really makes the drawing pop and look great. So yeah, shading the textures, shading the whole thing will be the next step right after this. But I still want to emphasize how important it is to have a good underdrawing. You can have the best shading in the world without a good underdrawing. It will still look a little bit off. So yeah, I'm making sure that I'm tracing everything correctly, that I'm focusing on that stage, even though it's the most, how can I say, the step that takes the least focus, because everything is down already, you just need to trace it. But still, yeah, watch out, and then you can focus again, or you have to focus again when you do the textures and when you do the shading, because it's really hard to erase shading. So once it's down, so in the beginning, less shading, and then you can build it up gradually and get darker and darker and darker in the areas that need to be the darkest. So that's about it. you will see the finished product right in a second. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a like, give me the thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Getting close to 1,000 subscribers, thank you guys so much. And yeah, I hope I see you around on the channel, okay? Check out my Instagram, it's linked in the description. And I'll see you, okay? Bye bye.